I mean, I can manage the office by myself for the days that, if you need Tony to come back downstairs. April, the only highlight that happens and changes in April for the health department is dog and cat licensing. There's a late fee after April 1st, which most of our residents don't like paying the $3 late fee. Their licenses were due on January 31st. We give them till April 1st to renew their dog and cat licenses by providing the rabies clinic in March. We do one in January and one in March. That gives them 2 opportunities to get their act together and come in and license their pets. I know there's been a resident at the council meeting that has been concerned with, she visited me today, with dogs, cleaning up after dogs. I know I spoke with the chief regarding some signs, putting up curb your dog signs to assist, and it's basically happening over on the park, we call it a park, the dog park across the street, which was the former location of the War Memorial Building. There are several residents that allow their dogs to run at large, which is without a leash, which we have an ordinance that you cannot let your dog off of a leash if it's off your property, and also cleaning up after the dogs. You see them, by the time an officer is called, they're gone. So, and again, when writing a summons, you have to actually, an officer has to witness, and the residents have been told this, and they kind of don't get it. They want to know why the officer can't write this ticket because I saw it. We've tried to explain to them that if they choose to do this on their own, they can go to the court and issue a summons to that particular dog owner. So the residents aren't happy about their $3 late fee. We try to work with them as comfortably as possible to assure them that we'll remind them their letters go out in January, or actually December, to renew their licensing. So I've had a few complaints upstairs about the late fee. Other than that, it's business as usual. Yes?
When they don't curb their dog,
Yes.
what can a resident do? Because I had a problem with them.
Again, you can go to the court and you can file a complaint. There is an ordinance for that. Now that goes to court, and it's going to be that dog owner and you, and depending on your evidence of what you saw or took pictures of, and their explanation on yes or no, I did do this, a judge would decide whether that particular dog owner would be issued a fine.
Well, what if you're not familiar with that particular dog owner?
If you're not familiar with the dog,
Yeah.
well, that's tough. This is the
Like,
issue I'm
if they
having.
come
I don't
from
know
another
the name
block.
of this gentleman. I know where he lives now, and I don't know necessarily that he owns that home. How many times have I called you for a homeowner? It may not be the dog owner, but it's the homeowner. So now I'm sending a letter to the homeowner who lives, but the owner is renting, and the owner of the dog is not necessarily this poor man that just got a ticket, because I'm sending it to the address that the complaint is coming in on. We do have our animal control service who checks in with me. Associated Humane comes in every day, checks with the police department, checks with me. We give him assignments to go out on. Again, he's not here 24/7. He checks in, he does his assignments, and then he could be rerouted to Irvington, Fairlawn, or wherever the Associated Humane. Will come back on an emergency, but a dog poop is not an emergency. So therefore, the residents are not happy with the situation. This particular resident wanted me to do a mass mailing. I don't have that funding in my budget unless somebody else, we can think of a way to get a
Mass mailing is expensive
a
these
notice
days.
out there.
I have a low-cost solution.
What's that?
Could we put it on the message board in front of City Hall?
We can put it on the message board.
Considering in the last week, I've seen 4 or 5 people not clean up after their dogs
Well,
on our front
Okay.
lawn of
Yes, no,
City
I
Hall.
agree. I
That's,
agree.
that's,
What I did is
problem for me.
I will provide it to you, Samson. I translated the ordinances into layman's terms. I mean, it's very simple work, because if you read the ordinances, they could be a little it's simple.
I mean,
You must clean up after your dog. Your dog, barking after hours is, again, a police issue after 11 p.m., but they come back, obviously, because dog licensing is up in the health department. And it's a health problem,
The
too.
solution would be the tax bill, but you can't put too much in there because there will be a charge.
That's what I'm saying. We tried that with the health fair to notify a few times, but we had to have a very tiny little statement. But there are many ordinances that are of concern, from the curbing to the running at large to the barking, in addition to licensing. So that's kind of where I'm working. And it's this time of the year, that it's getting warm, and our residents are going to be concerned. So I'll work on that with our association.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you.
Let him take this.
Want me to open the window?
Okay, Sam.
You see those in?
No, he's just opening the door.
I can open it. Oh, the window's not open
No,
yet?
then they're gonna blow, those things are gonna fly.
What do we consider solid evidence when going before one of those situations?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a question, because it's been spitted in
The
by
bag.
Specimens.
Thanks, Juan. Solid waste.
Okay. Chief?
Oh, okay. Just to update on something that Sampson said about our SAFER grant. You're referring to the 2010 SAFER grant. That's when we received the grant. It went into effect August of 2011, I believe.
2011.
Yes, because we applied in 2010, so it's a 2010 grant. We have been asking for a second extension on that grant. We have not been denied at this point from FEMA, which could be considered good news at this point. We have our Homeland Security representative, which is Senator Payne, Congressman Payne, and others trying to work on it to try to get FEMA to move on extending our grant, because there is about $1 million left in that grant that
Little
is
over a
unspent.
million.
What's that?
So about 1.4.
1.4, okay, so it's even more than $1 million,
Oh, yeah. It's a
so
lot
easily
more.
fund the rest of this year.
Yes.
No problem, should we get granted another extension. On another note regarding our 2014 application SAFER grant, we've been denied. We've been officially noticed we've been denied for the 2014 grant, which doesn't affect the 2010 grant, but for some reason we were denied. And
So hopefully they're signaling that they're going to extend it to
hopefully,
2010.
if we could read the tea leaves, hopefully that's all good news, so
Exactly.
we'll see. But again, we're just waiting to hear from them. We haven't been denied on the 2010. Around the firehouse, we've been doing some spring cleaning, just cleaning things up. We just presented the treasurer with, and CFO with a check for about $866 from scrap metal and such that we removed from around the firehouse. So if any more of that, we'll continue to do that. We will continue marking the streets at our hydrants with the letter H in the street, the white letter H's, if everybody's seen those. We're going to remark them again or
And that H
finish up.
stands for?
Hydrant.
People have asked the question, to be quite honest, so.
Yes, we tried to keep it simple. It's actually a program I think is working pretty good. You do see the H before you see the hydrant for not only our department, for incoming mutual aid departments. As somebody unfamiliar with the town, won't really know where our hydrants are. We know where they are instinctively, but if you see the H in the street, you know right away where it's at. So we're going to continue that this spring as the weather warms up. Speaking of our new ambulance, it has been very busy, and it's been working out wonderfully. It's reliable now. We have an ambulance that's reliable, starts every time we turn the key, so to speak. And just last night alone, or yesterday alone, they were on 25 medical calls in one day.
What's
So
going
it's
on?
quite a bit. I don't know, it's just, it was a crazy day
The
yesterday.
weather is getting better, shouldn't be like that.
I know.
It's the winter when you have those things.
A lot of cardiac arrest.
That's
We've
not
had
good news.
a few that didn't turn out so good yesterday, so. But it is a busy ambulance, so it is a good investment. Sampson also talked about budgeting. I'm looking forward to our 2014 budget and capital items I'd like to discuss. Speaking of the time capsule, I am working on a letter to the future chief. I don't think it'll be me in 25 years, but hopefully I'll be alive and well, but we'll see. And as far as the police fire basketball game, I've passed that, no pun intended, the ball over to the fire union for the participation. I've encouraged them to participate like they had last year. And one other thing, I mentioned to Sampson about the DSL on our internet line at the fire station is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I've been working with Verizon trying to improve it, and there are times it just literally shuts down because we have DSL. It's for 15,000 feet from the nearest switching, so I've tried to go to FiOS. Apparently FiOS is right next door, but they will not extend the FiOS line into the fire station. And I was going around and around for about 2 months with FiOS and
We're looking
Verizon.
into that. We're gonna have to place the phone call to our IT guy. We have been exploring to move all of those DSL lines to Comcast, just have one T4 line
That would be
pretty much
great,
provide
because-
service to the entire municipality.
Yeah, it's literally click and go get a cup
Coffee.
of coffee kind of thing. It's horrible,
hard.
absolutely horrible.
It's just
And that's a part of, I know that some of the departments have seen the wiring going around, because when we got here, one of the
That's
things we
right.
saw was that every single department had its own server, every single department had its own internet dial-up or, you know, DSL, and that's ridiculous. We can save a lot of money
Yes.
by actually being on one system, and even though it takes just a little bit of time, I think that the result, we all will feel it, especially when you're talking about finances and being able to visibly see the information. So every department will have access to the information. It doesn't matter where you are. So we are really moving in that direction, and that's something that, an unfortunate occurrence, the server crashing
Yeah.
has brought this opportunity before us quicker than we would have been able to do without our budget yet. But I'm excited to say that we are moving forward with it, with the line, so we will make sure that we do not neglect the seniors, because you're not in the same municipal building, the fire department, because you're not in the same department or building as well.
Right. So along those lines, it would save hundreds of dollars a month alone if you go to either cable, which cable I did look into. They came by quite a while ago. They have to run a second line to the fire station, but that's where it ended. We had engineers looking up in the poles and doing all that stuff, but that pretty much died, so that's when I went to Fios. But it would save, if we did the one phone, it would save hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, literally.
We're gonna
for
move
the
to
township.
Comcast because Verizon, they cannot extend the fiber optic because it is too expensive to them.
It's right next door. That's basically my report.
Excellent, thank you. Hope, anything from building department?
No, it's pretty good. Permits are up. We were short a man, Pete Krill, but he's back to work.
He's back to work.
Yes, he is. We're gonna be putting forth the effort of trying to gather all of the abandoned properties so we can get a better handle on that. We need the software though to really implement the ordinance that the council passed last year. And land use boards are pretty slow right now, zoning board and planning board. That's everything.
Excellent.
Do you want to just mention a little bit about Kane University? That was one of the,
That was it was just the planning board had a courtesy hearing for Kane University for a subdivision between Kane University and the County of Union. The transaction had happened, but they had to go through the technicality of coming before the board just to do an informal session and get the approval for the subdivision. It was a swap of land, and it was required because the land that was involved was a Green Acres property. So under the law, if they subdivided it, they had to give the county more land for the land that the county gave them for the subdivision, for the commute transit station. But other than that, there's nothing, no real development, new development applications, I should say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
and
Now
then
we'll-
administration office, you want to just talk a little bit about maybe, I know we highlight some of the roads, or I know it was touched on a little bit, but I would like us just to, again, highlight so that the folks in this room, that we're clear on many of the things that we've been working on.